Feels like we're watching a heavyweight title fight between two boxers that refuse to give a single inch, and so far, 2 rounds have gone in favor of 100 Thieves, and they've been by the thinnest of margins, but they do find themselves with the lead. I'm Doug, with me's Lex, and Lex, for XSET, they've gotten to the finish line, right? They've gotten there, they just haven't been able to push it over the edge.
Yeah, I mean, this whole series has been on a razor-thin margin, it seems like, with frequently we're seeing these teams kind of come down to 1v1s, 2v2s, kind of being the decider on whether or not the map goes one way or the other. However, that's a huge performance right there from Nitro. But, you know, we didn't expect 100 Thieves in this map to even be that competitive. You know, I've been wrong a few different times today talking about, oh, you know, these teams are totally going to be competitive here and not on others. Well, I mean, they win Split, they win Icebox, and honestly, for both of these rosters, they're both playing phenomenally, but I'm a little worried that towards the end of Split here, we witnessed maybe XSET losing their stride a bit, maybe missing the mark fragging wise towards, you know, the more important rounds in the second half, because it really seemed like they had an opportunity to win Split.
Yeah, but Lex, I think you can make the exact same argument for Icebox, right? And they responded on the second map. So I think the more interesting thing is you think about the map that we're headed to, right? Haven is a map where I believe, 100 Thieves have 1 rep in this tournament, and they're 1-0. It's a 13-4 win over Envy. So it's not like there's a ton of film from them on this map, so you really don't know what you're going to get. Very similar to what we saw in Split, right?
Right. I think, you know, kind of touching on what I was just mentioning, I'm wondering whether or not, especially on a map like Haven, XSET maybe has faltered a bit in terms of confidence. Because 100 Thieves, you know, as this series has gone on, even after losing map 2, seems as though they are getting better and better individually, and the plays that we're seeing are just, you know, they're exceptional, but it's not as consistent on the side of XSET throughout. So, you know, take a quick breather, guys. Come back into this next map and maybe a bit of a mental reset, because 100 Thieves definitely no slashes on Haven.
Yeah. Yes, they are certainly not. As you can see there on the screen, that is exactly where we're headed. We're headed to Haven. We talked about 100 Thieves and their record in this tournament on that map. For the side of XSET, they have more reps, but the record's not great. They're 1-2. Their one win actually was against BBG to open the tournament, and it was pretty, right? It was 13-3. It wasn't just a win; it was an absolute whooping. But the rest of their reps on Haven haven't nearly been as successful, right? You've got a 6-13 loss to Envy, and then much closer, but a loss to Version 1, 11-13 on the same map.
Right. I'm a little worried that we may see the end of the tournament life here for XSET, as 100 Thieves, man. I mean, you just kind of gave us the stats, but again, I don't necessarily think that XSET has found their final form on Haven, you know, from what we've seen thus far in the tournament from them. You and I even got to cast a series or 2 from it, so got to see plenty of what XSET can offer us. But I mean, you mentioned the 1 rep that we may or may not have seen if viewers at home for 100 Thieves earlier on in the tournament, but you know, that was against Envy, and you know, you have a 13-4 win against Envy on any map. I feel like that is a scary stat line if you're trying to prepare for it as XSET. But ECJ's back to the Sova. Got Aaron sticking with the well, actually it's Weeded who's switching the agents over.
Yeah,
Phoenix. But despite swapping some of the agents around, and this is kind of something that I think we talked a little bit about on Ascent, XSET still searching for their identity to some degree and how they want to play these maps. But I felt like the Viper, and this is definitely not one of her stronger maps, it's been something that they've been able to lean on. They're not going to have that here.
No, it's not going to be in the fold. And I think I just want to kind of highlight a bit more of what you were lightly touching on. We did normally plays Astra. Here, Aaron's the one who normally on Haven plays Raze. So there are a couple of things that are going on. It's Aaron who's not on the Raze. It's Pure who's on the Raze. And then they're bringing a Phoenix into the fold. So there are a couple of things very different from how we saw them play this map last time. And for 100 Thieves, see Nitro back on the Omen. Ethan, on the Sage. Hiko back on the Tried and True. Sova, and then Austin and Steel wrapping things up on Phoenix and Cypher respectively. So the composition on the side of 100 Thieves, we've seen this a couple of times. They're really dang good at it, and if it ain't broke, well, why change it up? But for XSET, again, like they're trying something a little different here.
Yeah, and I think that's something that when we're talking about skill levels, experience, all that stuff, intangibles, some of that stuff I think is you know, almost always going to be relevant in the conversation when you're contrasting two teams. But and this is very much a I don't know, can't measure this, but 100 Thieves definitely know what they're good at on these maps. They know what comps work for them. And I talked about identity for a second there, but you know, I think all of these players on 100 Thieves are falling into their roles pretty darn well at this point since their recent roster changes. So for the other side of things, XSET, the less experienced roster, don't think I'm wrong for saying that, but they're still kind of feeling their way through these series, these matchups where they're not quite sure how they want to play it. And there's no fault in that, considering you've already made top 2 in an event, and right now you're just playing for money and seeding. But another C play, fast, coming up from BCJ and the likes of XSET.
Full send. Weeded made his way into garage on the Phoenix that we highlighted. Good for one already on the Frenzy, and they've pushed back any sort of resistance that may have been there otherwise, as they're going to get full control of C. Now, the thing to notice for 100 Thieves, you see they've taken through B. They're going to work their way back up into garage to join Steel, while Hiko's going to be coming in from the top. He's going to be pouring in that utility over the top as well to make things a bit more difficult. Steel drops. Keep an eye on Aaron as he's on a swing as well. Weeded catches one. He understands where the other player is as well, but Austin and Hiko, Weeded good for 4. BCJ gets the last. Weeded almost gets the ace. XSET win the round.
Yeah, BCJ can't have known that he just stole the ace from Weeded, but that was a beautiful set of maneuvers, some fancy footwork from Weeded with the Frenzy in hand, fragging 1, 2, I think it was 3 in a row, just in the same hallway. Almost solidifies the ace, but he starts things off with that entry, and his team feels good now winning that pistol here on Haven.
They do now for 100 Thieves. We've seen XSET force up a couple times in situations like this. 100 Thieves not going to be doing that as they try to smoke and apply some pressure back from C-Long.
Yeah, you've almost got an ultimate here ready for Weeded, so they're just going to cake this orb for him. Try and get that run it back into the next round if possible. And already Steel dinked down to 10 HP, so not a hot start here for 100 Thieves. But Austin all the way worked up through a lobby, finds a BCJ who's wondering, what are you doing here, man?
Eco's already pretty tight as well, and it wasn't the drone who was going to spot him. He swings, trying to get the jump on him, not able to do so as Weeded and Aaron get a couple of kills. Pure watching the rotation. Right, he's so good at playing in this spot. You try to cut things off, much like we saw Steel do in the previous map, but Nitro, who it was who blasted through, swings back just enough to take care of Pure and continues on his merry way as XSET get the spike down on A.
Some real bamboozlery over there at B. They were able to grab the Sheriff headshot, so at least they've got a frag in the round so far. 48 hit points totaling here on the side of 100 Thieves, so exits, any kind of weapons you can get out of the hands of XSET's the name of the game. It's not a game that they're favored in.
No. And Steel, as is customary, finds himself behind enemy lines. BCJ not fooled by the fake teleport from Nitro as he drops.
What?
You almost expect Steel there in that moment.
He only had 10 HP, just falls over immediately. But hey, listen, something that we've talked about each and every map, Doug, is how teams are converting their bonuses and whether or not they're efficient in it. And it's not always, you're not always looking for a round win, a spike plant, any frags that you can get to build towards your ultimate.
Right.
All that stuff counts, and XSET has really struggled with it here today. But you're only rebuying one weapon, and that's Pure with a Frenzy. So this may be the best opportunity that they've had yet.
It is Weeded has his hunters, or excuse me, his from the run it back, dang it. Asuna is also 1 point away, so you'll see that fight for it. Weeded's going to channel his already as Asuna wasn't able to get in on one of his own, but he does find himself up top to be able to take care of the ultimate. Curveball across, gets a good kill there onto Pure as he looks for a bit more. Again, Seal behind enemy lines. There's Asuna's. Run it back. Not going to net a ton. It was actually Ethan who gets the kills, looking for a third and tees him up, knocks him down. Aaron's left alone. Guess who's on the other side?
And a really, really well-handled round there for 100 Thieves. It was fortunate.
Yeah.
I mean, even from the get-go, we saw the lineup. There was 3 players over towards long A for 100 Thieves, just ready to be there. The A rush immediately scattered out. Asuna gets a wall up from his teammate and just deploys the entire Phoenix kit to deny any movement and even popping the run it back, which Ethan capitalizes on to protect the body and help his teammate out, but ends up getting 3 for his troubles. And so, you know, we talked about the efficiency of bonuses and whether or not they're converting on them. Well, didn't happen there. XSET gets wiped. And you've, you know, maybe some degree set yourselves up for... Oh, man. Asuna through the cage, finding Thwifo. Already an abysmal start here for XSET.
Get so much information from that drone. See that B is safe. Nobody even really cheating towards A link quite yet, but they've just been a couple of seconds too soon as now you see 100 Thieves. 3 of the 5 members right where that just was. VCJ wise to it, good for 1. Asuna's curveball is not going to tag anything up as Weeded gets the spike down. Now the thing is, Aaron's in a great spot, but my gosh, if he doesn't look to the left, it may be a problem. Steel drops. Now Aaron's able to play back, stay alive, as they're going to try to fight through the havoc of the utility that's going to be headed that way. Ethan's got a res, but he only has 23 health. All right, he's going to bring Asuna back into the fold. Understanding where Pure's coming from. Aaron with a swing, a beautiful swing, as he gets 2, understanding Nitro. 8 bullets is alone here, but again, Aaron's weak. Pure's even weaker, so he certainly has a chance at it. Tries to turn around and deliver the haymaker, but not able to do it as Pure takes care of him. XSET get to 3.
And Pure just staying alive at the back of the site for so long, occupying everyone's attention while Weeded and Aaron are both fighting at the links. And a very fortunate, almost a little bit of a lineup after a free kill and a steal here at mid, but a beautiful re-aggression here into A-Link. Nitro basically caught in a near unwinnable situation of a 1v2. Still almost turns on him and gets to the second. And NT, only 1 lives for XSET, so their money's still on the brink, so to speak. 1 Spectre on Thwifo, but generally speaking, they're okay. Another big round here for 100 Thieves to stop the advance of the marching XSET up long C. Nitro finds the first. BCJ, who back on the Hunter's Fury, man.
Yep, delivering value again, but the kill did get traded as Weeded dropped. Nitro early on in his time with 100 Thieves made a name for himself, at least in Valorant, by being able to anchor this site down so well by himself. Now in a position to do so again, as now teammates are starting to rotate over while XSET pulls off.
Yeah, aware of the fact that while you're playing against Asuna, the chances that he's walked up into your spawn are pretty high. The spike hasn't moved in a drastic fashion away from C, so I wonder, you know, if you just maybe clear out a lobby, clear out a long, that might be enough to draw rotates from 100 Thieves. Maybe re-hit C later on in the round, but actually, as I say that, 3 players, 100 Thieves are moving to A. Wifo making a fake footstep over at short. And whatever they've done, it's been enough for 100 Thieves to be convinced that this is moving back in the opposite direction. Even a fake smoke coming out from Aaron into heaven might be all they need to walk into a lone Nitro on C and perhaps get a C site just vastly weakened over the past few seconds.
Oh, and you could tell, man, even Nitro was starting to step away, but my gosh, he was in a good spot to deal more. Only good for 1. BCJ trades it out. XSET's going to be able to get the spike down, and now the remaining members of 100 Thieves make their way towards C. Nobody covering the choke. The rotate point around B, so they're going to be able to get through just fine. BCJ going aggressive. Good for 1, good for a second. Wow. Gets 4 on the round, and Purer takes the last away as XSET play that round beautifully.
I mean, things start off with Nitro having an excellent defense over at the top of the C site, finds a free kill. BCJ just answers back with a Hunter's Fury, which somebody should check the stats. I don't think he's not gotten a kill with one yet today.
Yeah.
And he picks up 4 total, just feeling that confidence of it. But XSET, I mean, dude, I've been wrong so much today. Just about how teams are going to move into these maps, specifically just like hitting shots, confidence levels, stuff like that. BCJ probably a little ticked off about the outcome of Split. considering that was their map to win, probably in their minds at least. Now up 4-1, feeling confident, feeling good against 100 Thieves, who have looked consistently great. Force finally into a thrifty round here.
And you even see the respect that XSET are willing to give 100 Thieves in this situation. Not full sending, not playing anything tight, just being very careful. And reasonably so, right? You don't know what's waiting on the other side. Plus Steel, color me shocked, Steel pushing his way forward, trying to take some of that space away. He does get spotted. He does get mowed down. Ethan has joined the fray along with Hiko, and they're going to get caught. They potentially are going to get caught with their tails between their legs as Ethan was trying to hightail it out. He gets punished. Hiko manages to get away. Oh, and deal some damage. My gosh, Hiko. Oh my gosh, Hiko, another one?
I think BCJ is yelling at We Did right now for that flame wall, but that's okay. Uh-oh. You know,
Many
they've got
spots where Weedle is.
Yeah, Hiko's got Hunter's Fury out. Thwifo bailing out this XSET host plan, man. Sheriffs
I mean, they're not out of the woodworks yet. Because Thwifo's super weak, but they have a decent setup on where they are. They spotted a player. Nitro, Aaron. How many times was XSET bailed out of that round?
Too many.
2, 3?
I mean, they had 3 players all staring at defenders spawn. The flame wall goes up. Both players need to reposition, specifically BCJ on point. Hiko just comes around the corner and finds 2 free kills, basically.
With a ghost.
Yeah, and all of a sudden that round looked so scary, and Nitro, he had a lot of time left there at the end, though, I believe, and think about how close that was to Aaron just getting a face full of Sheriff. That would have been a huge round win for 100 Thieves. Instead, XSET claiming their 5th. And this might be the biggest lead they've had all day.
Might be the biggest lead either team has had all day. We did. Looking to deal a bit more damage. He spots Hiko running for the fences. Clears out the space. Nitro using from the shadows to get back onto the site.
They had to have just gotten that read that Nitro teleported across the map, right? Look at the rotations. They're hesitating, though. This is another one of those scenarios where they've missed their timing window now. And the indecision is going to kill them if they don't. Oh, well, actually, Owl Drone kind of resolves all of that. Find very quickly that there's nobody on C right now.
We did. Or Sasna. Excuse me, it's Aaron. It was Aaron who was on the other side. Either way, the outcome goes in favor of XSET as Aaron once again finds himself controlling that pinch, and that's going to force 100 Thieves to go all the way around. And as they move towards C, like a clock, they're going back towards 100 Thieves. Excuse me, XSET's going back towards A.
Cure just hears them stomping off of CT or defender spawn lower. Knows that there's nobody home at A. And like you said, man, this round is actually beautiful out of the side of XSET. The hesitation actually pays off twice now for them. And you got to figure it's not hesitation. This is manipulation, baby. Oh yeah. And 100 Thieves finding themselves outsmarted. You don't often see side of 100 Thieves being, I will call it, outmaneuvered here, but this is a 3-site map, much more difficult to manage, more favorable for the attacking side once you get that man advantage. And Doug,
hey, you can tell it looks like 100 Thieves, excuse me, are just going to save the rest of this round. Go ahead, Lex.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, like, you've already got 6 rounds as XSET, and I can't think of a single time we've casted Haven together where I haven't had this conversation with you, but attack side Haven, right? Like, they run away with potentially a few more rounds in this half, maybe claim 8 or 9.
Yep.
It's a really tough spot for 100 Thieves.
It is, and I mean, again, at that point, yeah, they're going to what we would argue, what I would argue to be the advantageous side, but the deficit that they find themselves at is considerable in that moment, and that's where XSET really, it's on them right now to dictate the rest of the pace of this map. How many rounds of a lead can they have to go into halftime to really set the stage to potentially force map 5?
Pulling them in.
Early C pressure going to be applied by XSET. All 5 players stacked up. But keep your eye on the minimap. Austin is already up towards a lobby. Hunter's Fury getting popped by BCJ, who's been flawless today, and he finds another one on a Nitro. This man can't be stopped.
He's so good, and then Weeded gets it as well. Hiko's going to try to do a bit of his own with the Hunter's Fury.
I know exactly.
As the Cosmic Divide comes through as well. The Neural Theft, my gosh, everything. They're throwing everything in the kitchen sink at him. Pure going aggressive with the Showstopper, takes care of Ethan. Asuna's on the flank, and Asuna has run it back. As he's going to join Hiko. The curveball comes out. And the confidence with which they're just swinging that. And he gets a kill onto him. Looking for a bit more. Asuna still being patient. Oh my gosh, I think he thought he had the kill pulled off. Either way, they drop. XSET get onto the site. And look, Lex, that round came to fruition at the very beginning because BCJ did not have that final ult orb. They played around that to get that in his hands, and that opened up the site.
Yeah, and just so confident from X, just not letting their foot off the gas. And it's not just, right, like, you have the ultimate awareness, you know, okay, we're one orb off, let's grab C orb, let's hit C. And, you know, you don't need to be a strategic genius to kind of lean how that might be powerful. However, what's so incredible about this entire series, and I won't shut up about it, is, okay, nice shot from Austin to start things off. Hiko runs out with another. Weeded who falls. Nitro able to shrouded step his way back into the B site. Hiko also reeling back. Pure took this map control away from them, but this is definitely a scary spot for XSET. But kind of to finish the thought, these Sovas have just been so important to the success of both these teams.
They really have. Really have, and now at least one of the Sovas is offline. And I was gonna say, when it was a 4v3, this round has already been more costly than XSET would have liked, and it's not the end of the world, right? It's 7-1, so they've got money for days. But you really wanted to find your way through this round. Yeah, I mean, at best a win, at worst, ideally, like you lose the round, but you're still able to keep a couple of guns going into things. You certainly didn't want it to go this way.
Yeah, it's almost better. It's almost better that Fuefo lost it right there. Okay. Yeah. Would have been unfortunate if they had gotten all 4 rifles off the ground for free. They get 3, which is still a fantastic bonus for an otherwise difficult round scenario for 100 Thieves. Not only do they come around for round win, but they get 3 rifles for their trouble. And incredible ghost work from Hiko. Some sheriff shots that find their mark, and suddenly XSET, who really seemed like they couldn't be stopped in this half, well, they get just that.
Now, it has just been 2 rounds, right? But you see, I thought they were in a better financial spot than they were, and Aaron's bought down pretty low. Asuna using the run it back after taking the middle of the map. Yep, he spotted one. Good for it on. Oh my gosh, Asuna good for a second as well. What a pretty set piece out of 100 Thieves.
Wow. Yeah, and, a decent portion of XSET's team, that they're watching the extremities, expecting Asuna to kind of be working up long A. I think it was over at long C, grabbing his ult orb, and nobody for XSET was really ready for that to be coming through window, and it pays off big time for Asuna.
And this is the 2nd round in a row here where we see 100 Thieves. They hit fast, they hit hard early on, and XSET, even though they've really controlled the pace of this half up until this point, again, that's twice now that you've seen him kind of get hit in the mouth a little bit and have to rethink things.
Yeah, this is going to be a solid 50-second long save throughout a round. I would be
30 seconds left.
And I'm pretty sure 100 Thieves is pretty stacked on money. And they won't probably discern this for some time. They may even not care enough to go hunting for these rifles, but it may almost be worth it with the closing rounds of this half to go after them. But 10 seconds left. No one's even close. Not worth. So it'll be a 7-3, 3rd round on the board for 100 Thieves. And certainly, I've been painting the picture that this is XSET in full control. They're going to win the half 7.
I mean, they have been.
But if you were able to get 5 here, 100 Thieves, with how things have been going, you almost count that as a good half, considering everything has gone wrong up to this point.
Oh, my guy, 100% you count that way, right? Like, if you're on the defensive half and you get to 7-5, that's like, yeah, man, you'll take that any day of the week, because again, you're going towards attack, you're playing into a 3-site map, and you know that you can control the pace of what the defending team is doing. It's an excellent spot for 100 Thieves to be in if they can get there.
Standing ahead.
Absolutely.
Found them.
We did one off the run it back. Early A presence being shown by XSET. You see the rotations already pulling off C. It's Asuna and Hiko hightailing it towards A to reinforce that site that they believe is about to be pressured. But this Al drone's about to maybe give a little bit of information that nobody's in mid either. So Hiko and Nitro will be the only defenders here towards the C side of the map as the push does come in. Run it back gets popped. XSET is on the site now.
Oh, but the paranoia. Oh, the paranoia. The paranoia hits too, and Nitro's able to clean them up. Yeah, BCJ trades it out. But again, you're buying time, right? Like, you're able to delay things, and now XSET goes, well, do we commit to this site? We have time to pull off, but they've been able to assume such good post plans. XSET in a decent spot here, Aaron. Aaron not able to pull off the heroics at the very end. It was Steel and Aaron in a 1v1, and Steel, who showed up just in the nick of time, wins the round for 100 Thieves. And Lex, we were talking about 8-4, maybe 9-3.
Yeah.
Like, what happened?
I think 100 Thieves is just finally, you know, recovering from what was a blitzkrieg of an attack side from XSET, where a few of those executes were just rapid fire, catching players unaware. But right there, I mean, you said it, man. A heroic paranoia from Nitro and the full confidence to come through, spray transfer onto a second frag. You know, that goes from being, hey, I might be isolated, maybe get traded out immediately if I get one. A 4v4 post plan is nothing like a 4v3 post plan where, you know, it almost feels like he's stealing their opportunity away from them there, and certainly that's is what ended up happening.
And, you know, it kind of felt that way the last two rounds, right?
Right.
Previous round, it felt like it was Asuna who was doing it with the front back straight into their front laps, right? Like, they've just been able to apply pressure at just the right time. Asuna good for one on the weeded. Pushing in aggressively in conjunction with Hiko's Hunter's Fury. Causing more problems, wreaking more havoc.
Slowing things down. XSET, Steel, posted, finds Pure. And they are not only financially comfortable enough to invest in an operator that allows this to happen, they're comfortable enough to not even rotate right away. Steel just making magic happen.
Again, it just almost looks too easy for Steel in those moments where he knew that they were going to be rotating back into him with how much time was left and all the information that was gathered elsewhere on the map. He's just able to pop a squat and really mow him down. Now, the thing that's even harder for XSET here is 100 Thieves. They have A-lane control. They have presence up towards the defender spawn, and they're going to be coming in from A-long as well. XSET are stuck, right? Like, they're pinched in.
Yeah. Excellent round for 100 Thieves. And an excellent way to end the half. I mean, like you said, we were talking about potentially 8-4, 9-3, especially considering the economy that XSET had built up. And yet, at the end, 100 Thieves makes the appropriate adjustments. And I think they're playing lights out in terms of just handling these really, really dicey situations. Close angled, you know, touch and go moments where not really sure whether or not they're going to be able to even get one kill, and somehow, you know, Steel retreats, finds a second. Nitro, paranoia through the dark cover, finds two. You know, those solo site defenders that I think XSET was able to capitalize on early, trade them out, you know, set themselves up in a post plant that's comfortable. You know, 100 Thieves was doing a very good job to deny that comfort later on in this half. So, this will be an important pistol, I think, to regain some of the momentum, that XSET have lost in the previous 4 or 5 rounds.
I was curious to see XSET had a couple of players bunched up right at the gates in B. And we've seen them on a pistol just full send across the middle of the map before. I was curious to see if they do it again, but they were just kind of checking window, and Asuna punishes them for that presence. You see Weeded has to heal up as he gets tagged up. But, I mean, the discipline that we're seeing at 100 Thieves here, the only person who has made any sort of advancement is Nitro.
Yeah, and even he's just biding his time, waiting for the calls to come in, figure out what the team wants to do. And the Al drone's going to be maybe a little bit of a diversion over here. See, the spike is still lingering about outside of A lobby. I imagine this is a little bit of a misdirect. As 100 Thieves opting to move back towards the A side of the map.
I have dropped the spike.
Steel and Ethan both advance up long A. Never
Yeah,
mind.
but XSET didn't bite.
Never
they
mind.
didn't bite
though.
at
Look this. Ethan's heading back the other way. Beautiful reads.
30
They
seconds
bit on the
left.
second one, and it was just enough to catch him on loose footing. 100 Thieves make their way into C through garage. See if Thwifo. Thwifo's going to be one of the first ones there. We'll see if he can make anything happen with it as the spike goes down. And that's a cheat. That's a one-way, right? That's a cheeky
Oh.
little one-way wall there.
I love that. I don't think I've seen that.
Good attempt.
Oh my goodness.
I want to say it was Nitro who put it out first, but either way, Ethan's picking right up with it. They're able to leverage that one way to kill one player trying to work his way in from the defender spawn. Weeded gets messed up as well, and they can't really find their way in from that side. When you pile that on with the fact that Steel still has garage control, there's really no way into this site, Lex.
Yeah, and Ethan's hitting his shots
Remaining.
in a big way, finding 4, looking for his ace, and there it is.
I do everything.
Battle Sage from Ethan collecting all 5. That's a pentakill for the ages, as not only is he showing us a little bit of new tech in the post playing at C, but brandishing a pretty crispy ghost here. Just taking the knees out of BCJ, following things up with some snappy headshots.
Enemy
Crisp,
remaining.
clean locks, Doug.
Yeah, and the conversation that we've had around momentum, right? And how do you feel that kind of shift out, and who's in the proverbial driver's seat, excuse me. For Ethan to walk away with an ace on the pistol, yeah, it's a pistol, right? And it can be so volatile. It can go either way. That feels good if you're 100 Thieves.
Oh yeah, you're only down by 1 here. You're gonna be able to build up your ults, build a little bit of a bank if possible, and get shot in the face by Aaron. Also answers back too, though.
Yeah, it was a cool little combo that they had set up with the gravity well. He was able to get one, but then Asuna just really showing the difference that comes from having
Wow.
that Phantom in that moment. Even with the cool gravity well set up on top of the orb, there was just really nothing they could do.
Yeah, Asuna picking up 3 in the round. Some long-range Phantom duels going his way.
This goes here.
And, I mean, you mentioned the ace from Ethan. But just in general, I think both he and Asuna have had some really intense rounds on this map in particular, but just, in the series as a whole. It's good to see their confidence flowing now as we are 7-all. Round 15 of map number, what is it, 4? 4th map now, Doug? Yeah.
Yep.
B-play perhaps coming out from 100 Thieves.
And this is, we're going all the way back to the beta days with the setup like this onto B with the Sage Wall. And note that Asuna's 1 point away from getting his run it back, but it's actually Hiko who gets the first one with the shock dart, no less, and a Spectre to follow it up. And then in poetic fashion, he gets cleaned up by the Roomba.
Player standing.
Ethan's got the res online, but he may not need it, as it's he and Asuna who clean up the site for 100 Thieves as XSET. Lex, like the conversations that we've had around bonuses and who's able to ride the bonus and kind of how that plays out, 100 Thieves just did it.
Yeah, they look good in that round. Not only are you just going with a set piece, walking straight into B, putting up the barrier orb, but it looked like you had layered utility flushing out all the deep angles on site. Not only do you have cover going out for each of the links,
Track
but
them
Thwifo
down.
was back there eating shock darts. I think maybe maybe a Molotov was underneath him, but there was just a whole lot of damage being sent out from 100 Thieves with indirect fires. And, you find the first. We did feels pressure to come through the C-link there. And it costs XSET big. And 100 Thieves is not letting
Oh,
their foot up
no.
off the gas here.
No, they weren't. And, there was a moment there where he just, ducks and hides around the curveball, maybe waited out, see if you get lucky, and he did. He just wasn't able to land the shots. 100 Thieves just really, they brute forced their way into A with almost no resistance. Again, making it look a bit easy, and, well, when you consider the weapons that were on the side, and in a lot of ways it was. But 100 Thieves get the spike down. They have the numbers advantage. 2 Buckies on the other side, which means that it's never a done deal. But you imagine this going their way as well.
Something that Asuna does so well for this team, and I am in no way trying to imply that he stat pads on ecos, but in these rounds in particular, I feel like they could be so problematic for other teams, other rosters that have, you know, we've seen in similar situations throughout this weekend, maybe fall into a Bucky trap, over peak against Sheriffs.
Yeah.
But 100 Thieves, you know, I correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we've seen maybe more than one time they've been thrifted here today. And it seems as though they're basically just putting Asuna on point with some utility and maybe a trade fragger behind him. And they're just kind of letting him off the leash and be like, hey, go clear this out for us. Find out if there's any bad dudes over here. And more often than not, he's coming away with 2 or 3 kills on those low bot rounds for XSET. And it's just, I mean, it looks like it's a massacre firing against unarmored opponents that just have classics. But I mean, really, he's dissecting them in those moments. And it's really, really paying off. Not just in the score line, but on the stat line for 100 Thieves. Coming up big. Asuna's got his run back. Like, look at it here now, Doug.
Here we go. A good well to try to slow things down. And then Aaron very patiently waiting to see if anyone was going to be following up. Nobody was there, so he's able to take care of the clone. The hot hand's just narrowly missing. A curveball from Weeded pushes him back. And after all of that noise that was made at C, the hit's actually towards B. Right, Ethan was able to take so much of that space away because of the distraction that was happening on C. Hunter Fury's gonna come out. BCJ again. Good for another one and a second.
How does he do it, man?
I don't know. I really don't.
I was gonna finish that thought, and then I'm like, here's Hiko in a 1v5 with a Hunter's Fury from mid window. There's definitely an opportunity here. It
There's
just
a
doesn't
chance.
happen. BCJ collecting 2 with the Hunter's Fury across the map, and it's just, he's dialed in with that thing, man. But you kind of pointed it out, Doug. That misdirection towards long C really paid off for 100 Thieves. It just couldn't finish.
Right, and then, yeah, it paid off, and then BCJ happened, right? BCJ's Hunter Fury happened. He was able to get a couple of big kills, wreak havoc across the site, and then it was really smooth sailing the rest of the way. Weeded's got his run it back online here. Not doing anything aggressive early on. As Swifel's 1 point away from having his ultimate online as well. You see 100 Thieves taking a good bit of space across garage, right? Like they're trying to lean towards C. Wall's going up. Aaron's in a great spot. Man, to stuff it dead in its tracks. And that's exactly what he does. We did good for 2. Hunter Fury's coming out from Hiko, but it might not matter. Weeded's hunting, right? He can smell blood in the water. He wants more. He's already got 3 on the round. Hiko may be the last kill that he's looking for. Not going to get a chance to do it here. But Hiko's a man alone.
Wow. What a play from Weeded. Curveball out of the dark cover. Hops into garage, of which there are 3 enemies. Okay, Aaron holds fast at the double stack, gets 1. But just the tenacity. Just knowing that it's just his job to clear out and hold garage so Aaron can get bailed out there. And he finds 2, 3, and then up the 4th onto Hiko. Excellent play there from Weeded, who shows us not only is he a Viper main, but the dude can rock a Phoenix hard.
And the crazy thing is he didn't use the right back. He had it there, right? And he just opted not to use it. Dealt a ton of damage. Huge impact on the round without that. So he's able to carry that into another power position, another rifle round for both teams.
Look at this. I don't know what the read is, but immediately knowing there's nobody at C, 100 Thieves already pushing close. Defender spawn here.
And this might be where we see some of these ultimates come online against Wipo, 1 point away from having the neural theft, but the wall's up. Right, they can't find their way into garage, and they have 2 options here. Either they, or well, 3. They shoot it down, they wait it out, or they pull off and try to work their way in through C. Hiko's already playing towards the back. It's actually the Steel who's on site early on. There goes the run it back. He did looking for something. Hiko's going to be just on the other side. Oh, and the op shot from Nitro. Clotheslines Pure as he's trying to get a beat onto Hiko, and the shot dart was there for it as well. As Hiko's just fine, holding down that C-long area, and again, if it's not him, it's Nitro with the op who's able to clean things up. That was pretty out of 100 Thieves, Lex.
Yeah, I'm kicking myself for not paying attention to the first very, 3 seconds of that round, because 100 Thieves legit just turned around and sprinted up C. I think it was maybe some mid-aggression that had come out, man, and it was such a beautiful response. I mean, seeing teams react that quickly, decisively as a unit I mean, obviously it pays off because you take the lead, and it really didn't seem as though XSET had any opportunity to really get in on the retake. He had 3 players trying to flank. Eco had a handle on it with Nitro backing him up there, and 100 Thieves not done yet in this map, and certainly looking to make a case to maybe end the series here on Haven.
And it wasn't just how they took the site, like, so you can admire that round for so long. They take the site on a trigger, a hairline trigger, and then their post planes are so pretty, the crossfires that they had set up. Now they're very heavily leaning towards A. They've invested some utility. Life was in a decent spot here, and he's also got the neural theft, so maybe you get a pick. Opt to use that and, you know, kind of give yourself a bit more room to work with. And here's where one of the differences that we see from XSET and 100 Thieves in this situation, right? 100 Thieves in this role are taking a lot of that space away, right? Be it down C, be it through garage, whatever. XSET being a bit more patient, being a bit more methodical, and waiting to see where 100 Thieves want to strike first.
Yeah, let's see what...
The fake. The fake. Oh, and they invest a lot into that fake, right? Like the wall goes up, they use the ult to commit to it and at least make him bide a bit more time, but Asuna is there. Asuna, again, opening up the site for 100 Thieves as he's able to get 2 with the curveball. Looking for a bit more. As Nitro's op is anchoring things down. There's no entrance too short. There's no entrance too long. There's no way in. As 100 Thieves, again, anchor down a site beautifully.
I want to wait till this round ends, but Aaron fighting for his life now with his operator in hand. Needs to get away, but Ethan's already there, poised at front B to eliminate him, and I can't understate how incredible that timing was. 100 Thieves throw a fake, which, you know, it did draw footsteps. I mean, look at the movement on the mini-map when they do that. BCJ was not even back towards heaven yet when they were coming up long, and I believe Thwifo was up top short. You know, and Pure coming in with the showstopper, thinking that there's no way any of the 100 Thieves side has made their way up long A and onto site yet, and yet just 2 free kills on players not even looking towards them. I believe it was Asuna or Nitro coming into the site there, and it was just a margin of a few feet in a second or two for BCJ. You know, he lost the opportunity to be that Overwatch at long A. And that's all it really needed for 100 Thieves to take that round and take the site. Look at the economy here, Doug. This is coming down to the wire again, but got to imagine 100 Thieves is looking to put it away now.
Yeah, this certainly feels like do or die for XSET. A couple of really 3 players, 2 of them down to 100 credits. Pure is down to 300. Wifo doesn't have a ton to work with as he's bringing the Sheriff into things. Aaron's got a little something, but really not a ton. Not looking great here, but if there was a moment for them to pull a little magic out of their hat, it's now. And look at how much space he did. Excuse me, and Steel too, and then Asuna. Oh, Asuna's not going to get a chance at anything, right?
BCJ bailed him.
Steel and Aaron. So Steel feeling some of that pressure. I like this response out of XSET to give them a bit of their own medicine, take some of that space away, and see how much havoc you can cause. But just as quickly as they apply that pressure, they pull up.
Poking and prodding at the attack side of 100 Thieves means XSET's got a pretty good handle on the information available to them, but 48 seconds left, not that much time left for 100 Thieves to pick a direction in which they want to end, and it looks like it's going to be towards A. With Asuna, Ethan, and Steel all joined by Hiko over here towards long A. Nitro a little bit late with the operator in hand, but Lightbulb will get this information now. It's going to be an A hit.
Going to get pushed off. The wall is going to go up as well. Aaron in a great spot for a second one as well, and he delivers. Nitro's op, he said it was a bit late, but it shows up just in the nick of time to get a kill. As he looks for a second, the spike has gone down. It's Nitro's way around the corner, and he doesn't check the 50. Aaron's good for 4. He's going to get the op. Not going to be able to make it sing, though. As Ethan swings that out, Steel good for it as well. Things look so good for XSET, and they've gone so sideways, but now that 2v2, there's a neural theft. Pure swinging. He's going for more. He's looking for the second, not able to pull him down. As Thweifel looks to just stick the defuse, he gets it to half. Nitro has to look aggressive, and Thweifel takes the round away.
Wow. Wow, Aaron just with heroics over at short A. Asuna thought it was clear, came in with a curveball out. Gives away the first, or I think it was the second frag. And unfortunately, the Thieves fans at home, you just watch that, just, oh God, so painful. He knows that he's dead in that moment. Aaron biding enough time, finds one of the Nitro. But really, I mean, BCJ kind of wandered into the site alone with no dart. Almost gave away the advantage completely, back down to a 2-on-2. The res came out from Ethan. And again, it just looked like XSET had tossed away that beautiful opportunity, and instead they come around with a round win. Pure has an operator in hand, and you're back in this game, Doug.
Holding down a long, just when you think a team's gonna fold, just when you think we've seen the last of them and they don't have anything else up their sleeves, they show you a little something to think about it. Now look at all of the noise that Steel is making over on A. He's shooting out the trap wire. He's putting up a cam. He's making them think real long and hard about it. But again, XSET is very diligent, right? Very patient, not biting on the first thing they see, as they still stay true, right? They're still staying home. The Cosmic Divide, excuse me, is coming out. Pure with the op, good for it. As Steel drops, they're going to try to work their way onto the site, but they're going to have to push through that. The counter wall comes up from Sage. Ethan good for one. And it looks like it should be able to get the spike down, but BCJ again, it might not have been a kill, but it may have just bought him enough time. No, it looks like the spike is going to go down at the hands of Ethan anyway. As they try to push through a chaotic fight for the site as BCJ stands strong yet again. He gets 2. He gets them to 11. Lex, we're tied up, baby.
Oh my gosh, man. That was the very first time I think this entire series that BCJ did not net a frag on the Hunter's Fury, but he's seemingly angry about it. Storms back into B and finds 2 on the retake. 11 each. This series has been so close throughout, Doug. And Haven is absolutely delivering in the same capacity. You've got basically a full buy going into round 23 for both teams. And a real opportunity for either to really end things up and lock it away. You've got to run it back on We Did. You've got a Hunter's Fury on Hiko. And even from the shadows on this map can be extremely powerful when used right, so...
Lex, Pure with the op. He played this spot last round, but nobody pushed their way up A long. Now they're going to be doing just that. The cage is going to come through. Nitro's going to ult his way to the top. Oh no, they fully committed. I mean, this is 1000% an A hit. Pure still able to get one. As Nitro's up on top, just narrowly missing a second shot, punished by Steel as they get onto A.
From the shadows already paying off, but he's conceded the heaven position. Grabbed an operator. This double stack's actually a great place to be with an op, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, early use from Hiko using the Hunter's Fury. You imagine, I thought he was going to save it for a post plant, but he actually opts to use it now. BCJ going in aggressive, taking care of Steel. We Did from up top, dropping down. The thing is, you have to go in aggressive here, right? Like, you have to meet them where they're at so you can get some space for the defuse. Edith's wall goes up. BCJ starting to hold it. Edith's got to go in aggressive, but BCJ might stick it. The Mad Lad just narrowly doesn't pull it off. Nitro, excuse me, and Hiko go up huge there for 100 Thieves to get him to map point.
We Did just a case of trying to do a little too much. I think he heard Nitro swapping out the operator and figured that was his time to strike. That was when I can get them most vulnerable, but unfortunately for them in the side of XSET, it was just a little preemptive. You think of how close that defuse was. If you could just buy BCJ a little bit more time, maybe that's doable, but wow, razor thin is not even close to describing how close the margin of error is in this match, because 12-11 now.
Oh, and they're broke.
Every little mistake counts.
And they're broke. Right, a couple Spectres and a Bucky. Yeah, they get the showstopper online for Pure, but this is not what you want to be bringing into this round. While Nitro has an op, rifles across the board the rest of the way for 100 Thieves. This is going to take some serious magic out of XSET just to get us to overtime. Oh, now they know that the Bucky's on the other side. The curveball's there. Not able to take care of much else. Aaron drops. 4 members remain to try to keep this map alive, to potentially keep the series alive. And it's not just that. Ethan's got a res as well.
Yeah, 2 players were just one shot for 100 Thieves, but Austin already healed back up. Ethan soon to give heal. Ooh.
Oh.
Spike down.
All right, so it swings.
Never mind.
Yeah, but they have to respect it, right? And BCJ is able to capitalize on that with the Bucky shot. He isn't able to upgrade his weapon. He's the only one who's there who still doesn't have one, still playing tight. He did curveball, just waiting patiently. Oh my gosh, BCJ with the jumping Bucky. Taking care of Asano, and the spike is down. My gosh, they might do this, Lex.
This is definitely XSET's moment, Doug. 20 seconds left, too.
But Nitro's with the op. BCJ and Dwifo, the last two. The read steals on the flank. Steel gets both, ladies and gentlemen. 100 Thieves are your Stage 2 Week 1 champions.
Wow, what a finish. Steel coming in with a hot flank. You know, near 15 seconds left on the clock. The spike is on its lonesome on site. There's just almost guaranteed overtime at that point, but Dwifo just getting caught out by Steel there, and just an impressive performance from 100 Thieves to bring that to, you know, what nearly was a necessary OT win in the fourth map, but to get it done just before that's necessary in XSET, a hard-fought series, but there it is, Doug.
Steel on that flank. I mean, like you said it, Lex, the spike was in the middle of the site. There's really no way for them to get to it easily. Yeah, you've got Nitro at the op, but you don't have a ton of options. You don't have a ton of space to work with. And who else but Steel on the flank, quietly working his way deep behind enemy lines, able to blow things up. If that's not the aim lab flick of the day, I don't know. I don't want to do this
Man's got
anymore.
some aim. Yeah, I mean, that was not only just a beautiful two frags, but even if he had just gotten Thwifo and somehow been traded out by PCJ and his Bucky, you think about how little time they had to even get up there on the site and somehow plan it. So, you know, all day we've maybe mentioned a little too often about how impactful those lurks are from Nitro and Steel alike. On this map, on Haven, Steel's final lurk through C-Link. Gonna be the difference maker in 100 Thieves. Winning grand finals. 3 maps to 1.
And like you punch, right? Like you punch and you hit a wall in the same spot and you hit it repeatedly over and over and over again, and there's gonna come a time at which it cracks and it breaks. And that's what happened with Steel, right? How many times did we see either diligence, hard-headedness, stubbornness, whatever you want to call it, but that was his game plan, right? Going into this series, I'm gonna lurk, I'm gonna try to blow up the play, I'm probably gonna get caught a lot, but there are gonna be moments where I manage to get behind enemy lines, where I manage to catch the opposing team slipping, XSET in this case, and I'm gonna be able to blow things up. And what a moment. And look, again, much like map 1, map 2, every single map was that close, right? The score is close, but then also you can't stress the importance of, in tight maps like that, how one play has all the difference in the world.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, we can highlight the mistakes that players and teams make and the heroics at others, and I just can't even get over how every single map of this series, Doug, came down to, you can go back and watch 2-3 rounds prior to the map conclusion and really pinpoint the exact moment in which things went awry for one team or another. And it's just, it's crazy to see that, you know, an XSET team where there's definitely a, you know, if you contrast them to the world-class likes of 100 Thieves, where, you know what, they don't necessarily have the same level of, you know, respect and gravitas in the scene when it comes to their experience and how much, you know, they know the game and they're able to play it at a high level. Well, hey, like, even when you can see a clear difference and the mistakes are being made, you're maybe not coming up with a round win that you should, if you're XSET. There is such heart and such resilience on this roster where, I mean, you said it, the individual performances saved them at times.
Yep.
And the same could be said for 100 Thieves, but, you know, it just was so impressive to see both these teams duke it out through all this, you know, every single map of this series, man, because it was all close all the time.
It really was. I think, you know, we mentioned this. I think I was the one who mentioned this at the beginning. Like, if there are people out there who still don't believe that XSET's the real deal. How do you see a performance like that and not go, damn, right? Like, right. XSET, they're legit, right? They belong at the top of the conversation. They belong at the big kids table. And again, that was 100 Thieves on the other side, right? That's a 100 Thieves roster that's been consistently improving, that demands attention, that knows that it's just a matter of time before everything comes together. And that's the best we've seen 100 Thieves. So for them to put up that performance for XSET to put up that performance against 100 Thieves was just beautiful. And look, the two players that we talked about a ton throughout the series, the stats really speak for themselves.
Yeah, I both of these Sovas have had such impact, right? Like, not just in the frag counts necessarily, but every single time that you maybe are looking for some drastic shift in momentum, I feel like either Hiko or BCJ were almost leading that with their Sova kit, and it was missed, I think, on some of the maps where they were running Breach instead. Split being one of them for XSET at least, and it was nice to see. Okay, we're gonna go back towards Haven, and right away we saw several Hunter's Furies netting multiple frags for BCJ. It's like he never left, man.
It's just absolutely unreal. Again, congratulations to 100 Thieves. We have a special treat for you all for the Verizon post-match interview. We do have Spencer Hiko Martin, who's going to be joining us. Oh, Hiko, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound good. Hiko, congratulations on the big win. It was tightly fought. Down to the wire, down to the very last map. How you feeling right now?
Feeling pretty good. Feeling, I wish that the match was maybe a little more meaning behind it. Seeding matches are always kind of in weird positions where, you're going to try your hardest, but, it felt like a lot of, after the top four, it felt like some of the teams we played might not have been playing their normal comps or their normal ways that they would normally play. But, I mean, we'll take the first seed if they want to, troll or not try their hardest, and that's fine by us. So, it feels great to advance the number one seed. A lot of teams kind of doubted us coming into this, thinking we're going to lose to the likes of the other big dogs, especially after our showing for Masters 1. But to come out first seed, first place in the first close, it's big for us for sure.
Yeah, I guess the question that I have to ask for you, Spencer, first of all, congratulations. You guys played fantastic and gave us one hell of a series to watch. It was super entertaining. But Split specifically, okay? Me and Doug, you know what? We're going to be wrong sometimes, but we went into that match. We're like, okay, 100 Thieves, they're going to pug it up on Split. They're going to do whatever they can. Like, how were you guys just having fun in that map? Obviously, you won it. That's important when you're trying to win a BO5. But, like, how much practice have you guys had on it? Was that a pure, like, we're going to wing this, have fun, play our game? Like, what was going on in Split? Because I think after you won that map, it seemed like there was no hope for at least XSET to get a decisive win in the series.
Yeah, Split has always been a weird one for us. Even going back to even the original 100 Thieves roster with Dre and all of the PUBG guys, it was always a kind of a bad map for us. It was always notoriously our permaban. I think that we all realized, and we all being Steel mostly, that you can't really afford to have a permaban with 5 maps. You just can't.
Right.
If you have a permaban with 5 maps and you play a best of 5 like we did today, you just end up having to give up a map. So I'm not going to say that it's a staple in our map pool, but it's definitely a map that we spent some time on, and we were comfortable enough to play, knowing that if we were going to have to play a grand finals, and I think we played it once earlier, even in the close too. Something we can always pull out in our back pockets. We have a bunch of role swaps on that map. Nobody really knows, especially going into this tournament, what to expect from us on Split. So I think that it was just something we put a little time in, and it paid off, and now we'll have a couple weeks until actually the regional finals to touch up all the maps, and hopefully maybe Split will be one of our better maps at the end of the day. You never know.
Sure.
Hiko, you mentioned this earlier. You alluded to this. I want to come back to this a bit. 100 Thieves, their performance at Masters 1 was certainly less than you would have expected, less than you would have desired. But I think for a lot of people, the understanding was, well, look, they just underwent a roster change. And while they were able to pull off some magic for First Strike after a recent roster change, how many times can Lightning strike in the same place? So I think the narrative for 100 Thieves across the board has been trust the process, right? Like, it's going to take time. That they're going to win. It's just a matter of when, not a matter of if. I think for a lot of folks, I'd love to get your thoughts on how close is this roster to full strength? How much is left in the tank? How much haven't we seen?
I think there's much to be discovered. I think that people would be surprised if they saw the depth of some of our strategies that we have. Definitely going from Masters 1 to now, you know, we had another role swap. We have Asuna playing Phoenix on more maps than Raze, and we have Ethan on Sage, and we have Nitro on Omen. So we're kind of going back to our old, you know, Nitro on Omen, and our flex is kind of Ethan, even though he's been playing Sage on every map lately. I think that was, I think that it's just more of a versatility thing for us, that we're able to adapt. And, you know, while we are pretty deep on some maps, other maps we definitely aren't deep on, and we're able to kind of plug it out and play our game. And, you know, I was talking the last time I was on here, I think that one of the most important things that we kind of realized from Masters 1 to this Masters is, or this Challengers, is we need to play our game. We need to play, you know, we have so much experience, we have so much Counter-Strike fundamentals drilled into us that at the end of the day, if we use our fundamentals and we don't really worry about, you know, oh, I'm playing this agent, or I'm playing this agent, or this guy has to entry, and we just go back to the basics of, let's just trade kill, guys. We have better aim, we have more experience, we're more confident than them. Let's just kind of go back and kill them the way we should, instead of trying to get the perfect strat or the perfect arrow or the perfect flash. I think that was a big realization for us, and me specifically. So, you know, all of that being said, I think that you are starting to see a lot of the changes we made, and the things we were working on and drilling between Master 1 and Master, you know, now starting to kind of show. And yeah, I think it's something we have to keep moving forward with. And something, you know, all of a sudden a lot of teams were kind of roasting our single Sage even for Masters 1 when we got Ethan. People were like, why is Ethan playing Sage? Why is Nitro playing Sage? Why are you only running one duelist? Now all of a sudden, majority of teams, if they don't run a Jet, guess what? It's one duelist. It's Sage. It's you know, Omen. It's Cypher, Killjoy. So it's Sova. So, you know, I think that teams are, you know, thinking they were catching on to us, and we were able to change in a way that we're staying ahead of them. So I think that's ultimately the number one priority with us moving forward. Is, you know we we have the target on our backs again. You know, people are going to say it's a fluke, and people are going to say, oh, you know, Sentinels and FaZe to make it through, and maybe, you know, 100 Thieves isn't actually the number one team for, you know, still. But yeah, I think it's all going to be something we know and we have to realize, and it's going to be something we work on for, you know, the regional finals.
Right on. Doug, your question to him, actually, I feel like I'm being very targeted, but I'm definitely one of those people who's like, 100 Thieves is going to be the best team in North America. You just got to wait. Got to trust the process, man. And I've been saying that for a while, even going into this tournament. But honest to God, it seems as though you're the most complete of a team that we've seen at 100 Thieves so far. The depth that you guys are playing, and it's not a depth that I'm talking about when we're talking about agent pool or anything like that. Just really concrete fundamentals like you're talking about has been, I think, obviously it paid off for you here, but it's something that I think a lot of the other even top teams sometimes lack or falter with, and I think that's just impressive today, at least in this series. We got to see it, really the grit factor of your team to come out on top. Congratulations. Don't have a question, just wanted to say I'm glad that you and I are both on camera right now speaking into our microphones so that everyone at home can understand that I'm not Hiko.
Dude, I hear. I was told that every time you cast, it's just always, why is Hiko casting his own game? That's good. I like that. That's good. That means we both have nice, deep, sensual voices. It's good.
True.
Hiko, thank you so much for joining us again. Congratulations on the big win. We're super excited to see how the team continues to grow and continues to perform moving forward. Best of luck at the rest of all the way to Masters.
Thank you very much. Have a good day, guys.
You too, man.
I think, Lex, one of the big standouts for me was the preaching of fundamentals, right? Like, guys, sure, we have the background experience. We've been there. We know what we need to do. Forget about roles necessarily and just go back to it's a gun game, right? They kill you, trade them out, right? Peak together, have high-low stacks, things that, given kind of some of the depth of this game, I can see how it's easy for teams to not intentionally, but kind of subconsciously drift away from.
Yeah, and I think, you know, for 100 Thieves, you've got 5 players that look very comfortable in whatever role and agent they're playing, to the point where, like, okay, if we've got the mechanical skill, we've got the decision making, and we don't want to necessarily complicate things with crazy agent compositions that we don't need, and this is working, then let's perfect it. And I think that was like, you know, kind of contrasting that XSET, who's willing to change comps on the fly, random map to map. They kind of lacked at times the discipline and the fundamentals that I think 100 Thieves really showed us there. So yeah, he's probably spot on with all of that.
And I think the fun thing is that you see both approaches work, right? Like XSET got here with spicing things up, changing compositions, changing roles, and obviously 100 Thieves was able to walk away really preaching fundamentals. So there's just so much good happening in the Valorant space as the game continues to grow, as metas continue to evolve, and we see what's the best way to play the game if there is one. Folks, I have good news for you. We've got the aim lab flick of the day, and I said earlier that if that last snap from Steel was not the aim lab flick of the day, I didn't want to do this anymore. Unfortunately, production has spared me, and they're going to let me keep my job because that is going to be the flick of the day. And again, like we mentioned, it could not have come at a better time, and then Steel with 29 health to pull that off to win the series for 100 Thieves, that's just beautiful.
Gotta feel so good just all day. Nitro and Steel causing massive impact on the lurk. Backstabs galore, and right there at the end, once more, XSET getting burned by the likes of Steel. In the right place at the right time, making the right play.
Didn't ask for more than that. Let's take a look at the bracket one more time as we see now that the dust is settled how 100 Thieves really made their way through the North American field to be crowned champions of this first week of Stage 2. As you can see, it started off early on against Sandbox, and really, it was quick work against Sandbox, decent work against Cloud9, and then 100 Thieves up against Envy was where they really started to feel some of that resistance against a very good Envy squad, but ultimately made their way through to what we just saw. And the thing is, Lex, you can look at this, you can look at the 3-1 score and go, oh man, 100 Thieves probably rolled over XSET, it was super easy, but it's not until you look at the map scores that you go, dang, that easily could have gone either way.
Yeah, and I mean, we just casted the games. You and I know better than anybody. Like, that was, from our standpoint at least, like every single map, you just go back a round or two from the final round, and it's like, right here, right now, this is when the map was won or lost. And usually, I mean, we've already mentioned this, it's coming off the back of some like real excellent game decision, game making plays from individual performances.
The one thing that makes me happy, right? Like the silver lining, if you will, the thread of hope to hang on to now that this tournament is coming to a close is that means there's just another one around the corner. We still have a couple of teams that we need to send to the regionals finals. Lex, do you have any closing thoughts before we wrap up the show?
I'm impressed. I think this event in particular, a lot of teams are coming with more complete game plans. Stay on the grind, boys. Thank you for providing us with incredible Valorant all weekend long, and good luck in the next one.
Thank you, folks, everyone at home who hung out with us, who watched the matches. I hope you guys had as good a time as we did, as I know Lex and I had a blast. From the production staff, from the tournament organization staff, from the teams, everyone who came together to make this possible. Again, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will see you guys at week 2 of Stage 2 of the VCT. Thank you so much. Until next time, have a good night.